if you have an interest in horses and love learning more about horses, the horse industry, teaching, or even managing your own horse business, then you're in the right place. We would love you to join us on our mission, which is to improve the lives of horses around the world through the education of riders, handlers, and trainers. So get comfortable, listen in, and enjoy.
This is another of our popular Listener's Choice interviews, which we're playing over the weekend. We've chosen the most popular interviews for you to select the Listener's Choice winner. If you're not sure how the Listener's Choice competition works, have a look at horsechats.com/choice for the rules and the leaderboard. If you have the same vision as International Horse College, which is to have a world where people safely appreciate, respect and enjoy their horses, and the horses appreciate, respect and enjoy their people, then have a look at their website, internationalhorsecollege.com, registered training organisation 31352. Today's guest is Manu Josz. Manu's always been involved with horses and has competed in Belgium, the Netherlands and Australia. She started off as a show jumper and used dressage to improve her jumping, but she became passionate about dressage and she's competed up to Grand Prix. How are you, Manu?
Yes, good, thank you.
Good. Manu, a favourite quote, have you got one for us? When I talked to you about it earlier, you sort of had a bit of a smile, so I think it must be one that you obviously resonate with.
Yes, absolutely. It's been with me all my life. Mm-hmm. And basically it is happy are those who are willing to pay the price to make their dreams come true. The reason is that we all have dreams, but very often we just don't have the courage to keep going with the failure and all that's involved in following your dreams to actually make them come true. So that I think that quote is a very good quote for me.
Mm. And is that one that someone told you, or it's just one you read somewhere? How did you find out about it?
I think it's a quote. It's definitely a quote I read somewhere, and it resonated with me straight away because I had lots and lots of dreams, and it just made me realize that that there is a price to pay to achieve your dreams. It's not something that just falls off the sky and comes to you. It's hard work, and you lose faith, and you've got to keep the direction and never lose faith in your dreams. So, yes. That's what it's all about, really.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, that's good. That's good. Manu, you've been riding a long time, and across, the horses have sort of followed you across a few different countries. But do you have an early memory of maybe the first time you rode, or something that happened when you were quite young?
Yes, absolutely. So I always loved horses when I was a child, always a bit obsessed with horses, but my family was absolutely not into riding. And we were a family of 5, and so there was not really a lot of opportunity for me to go and ride until we went on holiday with my family, and there was a little riding school, and my dad offered to pay me a lesson, and the smell of the horse just stayed with me forever. I just felt like I was home when I was on the horse. So that was just a wonderful feeling, and it never left me.
And the smell's quite unique, isn't it? And it's only horse people that understand that smell. There is a particular smell. It's the sweat and the manure and the everything else, but it's a particular smell. Yeah. Absolutely.
And I think, like you said, every horse person knows about the smell, and we all kind of addicted to it. Yeah. It takes you and never leaves you.
Mm-hmm. What about having a career with horses? Were your family behind you having a career? Did you do another career first? What happened there?
Okay, so absolutely no family support. My first thought about wanting to make my life with horses was I was probably about 12, 13, and I kept begging my mum to become a horse person. And my mum was unfortunately a widow with 5 kids. So horses were really not on the agenda financially for us. Yep. And she thought, as being, a mother of 5 kids with no father, that horse riding was not a serious job. And so she really sidetracked me from it as much as she could. I had to finish school, I had to go to uni, and of course all that never really worked out for me, because in the back of my mind, what I really wanted to do was working with horses. So I was doing that on the side, but I wasn't properly in the horse industry full time until I moved to Australia.
Okay. You're obviously enjoying it now. What do you think's the best thing about working in the horse industry and working with horses?
I would say working with horses, for me, the best is they are the best teacher of your personality. They challenge you in a lot of ways, and my motto is that horses are the legs and I'm the brain. So if there is a problem, it obviously is coming from me. If there is a problem with communication or misbehaving or things like that, I always question my riding. So I find that a very, very exciting and very difficult road to follow, because you never stop learning. Every day the horse will throw something else at you that makes you have to go in your magic bag and find the answer of the problem.
Yes.
And I find that, literally it's my meditation. It's a very big part of my well-being.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then I think most horse people will relate to that. I think the feeling you get when you ride and the communication with an animal really is a bit of a drug.
Yeah.
I think we're all a bit hooked to it, yes.
Yeah. What do you think, for people who are starting off in the industry, what sort of core skills or character traits do you think they need?
I think what's very important is to find, obviously, good guidance, because, horse in general, for a lot of reasons, need a lot of care. And I think finding the right person that teaches you and makes you understand, it is very hard work, and everybody knows that. There is no other way around it. I don't know anyone that works in the horse industry that doesn't work really, really hard. So you've got to be prepared to do that. It becomes a lot harder for a lot of people when they start having a family. You're always gone. You're gone teaching. You're gone to a show. So it is a very big price to pay, but I think we are unstoppable. That's what we want to do. But you have to have that strong passion about it, because you will go through a lot of people. Some will bully you, some will use you. It's the horse industry is like the world in general. You have to find a way to make your way through without too much damage. You will face a lot of difficulty, and it's always finding the person that is right to you and teaches you and gives time to you. And that sometimes can be very difficult in the horse industry, because I think a lot of people, they use the fact that people are passionate about horse to underpay them, to abuse in hours they work, probably also because they are working really hard, and so they expect that from the people that work for them. And in that sense, you've got to have a lot of energy and be able to do a lot of hard work.
Yep. And it's hard. It's not just a standard employee. You've got to find the right employer for the right person too. The person's got to find the right employer. The employer's got to find the right person.
Yeah, and that's for every area of life.
Yeah.
I think when you're looking for a direction, you might have to go through many people. It can be in any line of work before you find the one that actually gives you the guidance you were looking for, and help you to nurture your gift, because you have something to give. If you put yourself in the horse industry, that's because you want to give back something. The people that are around you when you start are very important, for sure.
Yeah.
So I would advise strongly to change if you don't feel happy or if you feel abused and used. There is many horse people of all type of area, and you've got to find the one that suits you. And like you said, your employers needs to get on with you too. That's very important.
Yeah. Manu, who's helped you in your horse career? Have you got people that you'd like to mention?
Yes, look, I mean, I won't mention the one that I met when I started overseas because, they're not known here. But there have been many important people. My first riding instructor was a fantastic woman, and she certainly helped me to nurture my passion. And then when I started doing dressage more seriously, I moved back from the Netherlands to Belgium, and there was a person giving lesson at the riding school where I kept my horse, and I was listening to his lessons every time because I found my God. That was what I wanted to hear. But I couldn't afford the lesson because he was quite expensive. And after watching him for weeks and weeks and weeks, I finally got the courage to approach him and say, look, I'm financially, I'm not very well off, but I love what I hear from you. And would it be possible, instead of taking an hour lesson, to just have half an hour? And he agreed on that. And that was the start of a long relationship, because when I moved to Australia, he asked me to come and see the country and see the people here and the riding here. And basically, he's now living here, married in Australia, and teaching and coaching in Australia.
So, who was that, Manu?
Carlos de Marca.
Yes. Yep.
I'm the one that brought him here, and he's he's definitely a very, very knowledgeable person.
Yeah. But
it's also the way he teaches, the patience that he takes to explain to you. The thing with dressage, it's mainly based on feelings. There is no way to really explain feelings. You would think so. He finds the way to explain the feelings. And that is, for me, a skill that I got from him, and to me is essential, because when you teach, you very often have a lot of years of feelings building your feet behind you. And when you teach, you expect people to be able to feel like you. But that's not the case. So you've got to wind yourself back to when you started and when you sat on the horse and your instructor was saying this and that, and you would like, I have no idea what I'm supposed to feel, how it's supposed to feel like, and be able to put yourself in your pupil skin for a minute and find your way back to when you were in that spot and be able to explain how to look and how to look for your feelings, how to start building your feelings, because it's a very intricate thing with dressage, and some people are super talented and naturally have a feel, but I would say that 80%, maybe 90% of people just have to work really, really hard. And years of training. And then you start building up your feelings. You get better at it. And you start to understand what dressage is really about. I think you've got a certain idea when you start. But when you start discovering what it really is, that's when it becomes totally magical.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Manu, what about horses? Have you got a horse that you think has influenced your career? You talked earlier about a show jumper, and you use the dressage to improve the jumping. Do you want to talk about that horse, or is it another horse that you think is more influenced?
So that was my first horse. She was called Ursula. She was a mare. I bought her from my first boyfriend, because when we split, I just could split with the boyfriend but couldn't leave the horse. So begged my mum to death to buy the horse, which she did, which was unbelievable because we were really not well off. But I had to pay for everything. So I started working, cleaning stables, getting horses ready at the riding school, riding difficult horses, doing jobs to be able to afford her. But she was very difficult, and I was very inexperienced, to be honest. Difficult horse needs experienced rider, and this difficult horse got pretty much a beginner rider that didn't really know but had a lot of will, and mares have a lot of will too. And so when I moved to the Netherlands with her, the place where I ended up was mainly dressage, and I was still doing jumping then, and I was having lessons for my flat work, and the lady was amazing, and really I started to understand the concept of training. You don't just go on a fence and make the horse jump. There is a lot of things involved that needs to apply before you can go and jump that fence, which you do as a kid. You just go and jump the fence. But when you start to be a bit more serious, you realize that it's a lot of work. It's a lot of training to get a horse to jump properly. And like I said, that horse was very difficult. So I at the end, I found more harmony riding dressage and started at the lower level in the Netherlands, and in 2 years' time was doing advanced. So that was very exciting. We had a great team at the riding school. We would go and compete all together. So it was a very good atmosphere. And then went back to Belgium and competed a bit in Belgium and moved with the horse to Australia. She finished her life here. She died at 34, had a good life, had 2 babies here. But yeah, I had other horses after her, obviously.
Yeah. What do you think your proudest moment's been?
Probably the fact that I kept going with all the adversity that life threw at me. I just always kept the horses, kept riding, even with the hardship financially and emotionally. I always just kind of kept going with it. And I'm proud of that now because I think it gave me a really good balance in life. I always say to people, horses are in a way your best friend and your worst enemy. And I think any horse person will understand what I mean when I say that. It's a passion that is very hard to share with others because of the work involved with horses and the money involved. Husbands, kids, they don't get it. It's the hours you spend cleaning, picking up poo, and my son always says, I can't believe how much they poo. I think the work that's involved throws people that are not horse people totally aside. They just go, this is crazy. So probably lost my marriage because of the horses, or, I don't think it was because of the horse, but it certainly didn't help that I was working in the horse industry because I was very busy. The clients are, very involved in your life. That's the way it is. It's part of the game because you look after the animals and you have a very close relationship with your client. First of all, you see them a lot. They come, they watch you train the horse, or they ride and you train them. So it becomes a very close relationship that sometimes end. That's what life is about. People come and go. But yeah, you always have quite a close relationship with your clients. So sometimes it can become a bit tricky in your private life. Definitely.
Yep. If you had to think of one, because I know you've had quite a few challenges, if you had to think of one individual challenge, what would you say that is?
Look, basically, being financially, limited in the horse industry is a big challenge because horses, unfortunately, they're beautiful animals, but they are very fragile. So I have trained 2 horses to Grand Prix from nothing. I bought them. The first one just broken in. The second one that I still have, I broke him in myself and trained them all the way to Grand Prix. My first Grand Prix horse, I had to put him down at 13 because he had a real problem with his stifle, had a surgery, but never got any better. It was getting worse, and there was no way I was going to let him suffer. So that was a big blow. That was right after my divorce on top of it. So that was huge. That's when I really thought, this is it. I'm giving up.
Yep.
But I still had the other one that I was training, and this is a very special horse to me. I call him my Ferrari. He's a very tricky horse to ride, but the feeling he gives you are totally amazing. So, but again, you know, fondness becomes an issue. Horses get older, and they cost a lot of money to maintain. The veterinary cost, the farrier, all the supplement you start giving them for their joint, etc., etc. So, but at the same time, even though they are the biggest challenge to me, they also have been my good lesson of finding my spot in the horse industry, meaning the big dreams of being the super competitor and winning Olympic medals and all that are gone a long time ago, because financially you've got to be able to replace every time a horse breaks down or have a lot of clients. The fact that I had to move house and find a rental place where I could do my job, it became harder and harder. But I kept the other horse, and I still have him, and I would never sell him. He's part of my life. I bought another young one that is now 5 years old, and so on its way to training. But I also have accepted that my good things out of dressage are more personal now. They're not so much on I don't need to be a superstar. I don't need people to, you know, talk about me. Or, you know, when you're younger, you have all these aspirations. You want to be in the magazine. You want to go and ride overseas. You want to represent your country. I'm not saying I didn't want that. I did want that, but life threw me challenge that didn't make me able to achieve that. But now I look at it and I really appreciate riding by myself, not even compete. And I still compete, but very little, because I enjoy so much the trueness of the training. So the will to compete is not as much there, because I feel like I'm never good enough, not ready enough, but not in a negative way, in a good way, because I feel like I'm matured in my riding immensely, and I feel that I'm a much better rider now than I was, and I still learn, and that's what's so fantastic about it. Every horse throws you new challenge, new question that you have to answer, and forces you to go and find every little bits of you that can find the answer, and that's what's so amazing about it.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're right. Every horse does throw you their own unique challenges, don't they?
Like people, They have their personality, they have their weakness, their strength. One might be a bit stronger, the other one a bit weaker, the other one a bit stiff. You know, they all have, like humans. But what is important to remember, you can make an average horse a lovely horse to ride. You do not have to have the fantastic superstar, which costs a lot of money. Horses are not cheap. You can still enjoy the journey, even with a cheaper horse, if your aspiration is, I'm starting at A and I want to finish at Z, and I want to have learned so much and have such a harmony with my horse that I can actually ride everything in harmony, really. And that's the great thing. When I was young, I thought you need the horse, you need the special horse, you need the fantastic horse. Now I realize, no, what you need is to build up skills that makes you able to train any horse to be nice to ride.
Yeah, for sure. If you think, if you're going out to teach people, to go to do a clinic, things like that, what's a common fault that you see with riders and trainers and how they go with their horses?
Look, I won't comment too much on other trainers, because I find, criticism is always very easy. And horse riding is a very intricate sport. Like we just said, the horse personality, the rider's personality, the rider's ability, the horse's ability. So I think every instructor is definitely trying to do something good. But like you said, you need to find the person that reaches you. So when someone reaches to me, I definitely give them every little bit of my knowledge to try to make them understand that they don't need to win at competition tomorrow. what is important is the journey, and the journey is fantastic. It's worthwhile taking the time to live the journey of training before you have big dreams. You know, it would be good if I could go 30 years back.
Yeah.
Don't we all wish that?
Yes.
With the knowledge I've got today, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
But look, the main fault, I think, of a lot of riders is the fault that I had when I was inexperienced, is that we have the rein that we pull and we have the legs that we kick, but we don't really understand the harmony that needs to come in between the connection of the horse's power, which is the hind quarter, the balance, which is the horse capable of actually carrying himself, and the balance of the rider. So the main fault I find very often are the way the riders sit, the way they try to help their sitting by holding the reins too much, then complaining that the horse is heavy. Things like that, you know, which I'm sure that most instructors would say the same. So it's very important. And unfortunately, some people have a hard time with that, but people come to me and I might spend the first lesson talking about the position. And people get sometimes a bit upset because they're riding, let's say they ride medium at competition, and they come to me and I'm doing circle left and circle right and transition and talking about their seat and the way their upper body is and the way they hold their hands, etc. And they want to do half-pass flying change and God knows what.
Yes.
which is exactly who I was. So again, it is not a critic. It's human. We're all humans. But when you manage to get the message through, when they actually start to understand, when they sit like that, when they stop pulling at the horse, when they use their legs properly, then things start to happen and they start to feel. And that's what is amazing, because the smile on their face when they can start feeling is the best gift, you know?
Yes,
It's wonderful. And to see the horse happy and using himself in a better way is just fabulous, is a really big reward when you teach.
If you're an equestrian coach or a horse riding instructor, or even if you aspire to be one, have a look at the free video series for horse riding instructors on the Horse Chats website. Go there now, have a look, horsechats.com.
Manu, have you got a book that you could recommend?
Look, I haven't read that many books, to be totally honest. I've watched a lot of video and I've watched a lot and I've listened to a lot of clinics and judges and God knows what. I did read the Harry Bolt book that is very hard to find in English. Is the Bible of dressage, most people in Europe would call it, because it explains really well the importance of the position of the rider, how it influences the horse's movement, how the horse actually functions underneath you, the way the spine moves, the way the hindquarter bends. He explains that very, very well. And, you know, it's a book that probably has been written, I would say probably 30 years ago, if not more than that. But the picture in the book, everything about the book is very, very, very well explained. Otherwise, Ingrid Klimke has made amazing video. She explains all that really, really well too. I think there is a lot of really good things to watch, and I would definitely say to everybody, any type of information you can get, listen. And you make your own mind. You take what you want to take, but you always have something to learn from you know, someone that has experience with horses.
The other thing is too, we'll try and find that Harry Bolt book in English and put a link up on the website. So hopefully we can do that. Yeah. Manu,
it's
very
the
good
Bible
book.
of dressage. Yeah.
What are you looking forward to now? You've got your second horse, you've got your young horse coming on.
Okay, so my Grand Prix horse, he has soundness issues, so I ride him, I compete him a little bit, but I've got to really manage him properly. He's 16 years old too. Yep. So with him, it's more about, like I said to you, it's my Ferrari. I just love him to bits. And so my goal with him is mainly to ride him as long as I can and improve him the way I can with this problem. And with the young horse, I don't really have a strong plan, but it's all about the training. And then if one day I feel, she's now really performing well at home, I might take her out again too. But like I said, financially, everything has to, I'm a single mother, so you have a child to look after too. So horses are very important, but they can't take over that part of my life, being a mother and being responsible for my son. So having no family in Australia has made it a lot harder also to just focus on the one passion. So I ride every day, 2 horses, 3 horses, and that's really good. And if I can keep doing like that for as long as possible, I'll be happy. I don't have big dreams anymore. Whatever comes my way, I'll be happy with.
Good. Manu, can you summarise your philosophy with horses?
I would say that the philosophy with horses is to remember that we are the humans. We are the one that want to utilise them for our own pleasure. And so in that sense, we have a responsibility towards them, which is good care, listening to them, pay attention, because horses are not naughty for no reason. It's a bit like children. There is always something behind it. It could be that something hurts. It could be that, they are not happy where they are, or it could be many things. So it's very important as a rider to stay open mind and not go, he doesn't want to work, he's lazy. Go a bit further than that. Try to be using your brain a lot. Question yourself. Find answers that suits the horse. I find that ego is the biggest enemy of learning. If you think you're that good, then you never really believe that you've got to keep learning. And I think the key to become a good rider is to stay open, stay small, and always want to learn more. No matter where you are at, no matter if you are gold medalist, you still have lots to learn. You can still improve. You can still get better. And so, put the ego a little bit aside when you ride. And that's not always easy. We all want to achieve things. And so I think that's the biggest lesson I have learned, to learn to put your ego down a little bit. Think about the horse. Think about harmony. Think about what you really want out of riding. Is it winning, or is it riding really correctly? And that can go together, but sometimes you can be a winner and ride pretty poorly. And you know that.
Yep.
So, that's your responsibility. What do you want?
Yeah.
And harmony, if you love horses, for me, it's compulsory,
Yeah.
Have a happy horse.
For sure. Manu, how can people contact you?
They can contact me via email, which is my emmanueljosz@gmail.com, all in one word, or they can contact my mobile, 041926, 041926, exactly, thank you very much.
Okay.
I don't really have a website or anything like that, but anyone that wants to talk to me is more than welcome. I always have time. I'll answer questions, and I'm happy to chat if they want to contact me for any reason, really.
Okay, and we'll have those details on our page too, which will be horsechats.com, and we'll just go Manu Josz, I think, which is ManuJosz or Z, or just go to the website and search for Manu, Manu, and you'll find the interview. And also too, you'll find the links to the books that Manu said, and also her contact details. So they'll be on that page as well. Manu, you've certainly dropped some gems here. There's lots of things here that I think, I've sort of written down lots of notes actually, and I think if anyone else is listening too, they'll be able to, write down some notes, come back, re-listen to the interview and get all that. So I think that's great, Manu, and we'd love to talk to you about some of these things in more detail at some time down the track as well. That'd be great.
Sure, it will be my pleasure.
Okay, thanks for talking to us. Bye.
Thank you.
If you've enjoyed this chat, then please comment, rate and subscribe. If you'd like any changes or recommendations for guests, then please contact us through horsechats.com. And while you're online, have a look at the government-accredited courses at internationalhorsecollege.com. Registered Training Organisation 31352.
Remember that our comments and instructions are general in nature and do not take into consideration your individual horses or your individual ability and circumstances. If you enjoyed this podcast, then please leave your comment below.